Ball inside the 1. Johnson again. Yep. This time he is hit by Jack Reynolds and knocked backwards, if you can believe that. 11th play in this drive coming up. Anderson will look and throw. Alexander does not get in. They give the shotgun, I don't know. The 49ers don't think he made it. Who's on the bottom of that pile? Jack Reynolds again. Number 64. That's a team effort for San Francisco's defense.
Craig Patterson's way to the goal line. He goes in for a 49er touchdown. And the 49ers are leaving the Miami Dolphins far to the rear now.
Weiss has just set a Super Bowl record with 12 catches. He's in motion. Montana. Touchdown, John Taylor.
This is complete domination. The 49er offense has beaten the Denver Bronco defense every way
From the 44, they fake it to Floyd. Young to the air, Young to Jerry Rice. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Well, that's quite a statement their defense made. To handle the middle of the football field, and Frank, I have dumbfounded as to what they're doing.
Good move to the outside on Carrington.
Talofa Faithful, how's everybody doing? I'm not sure what happened to TJ, but I'm going to go ahead and get this going because he just seemed to drop out. So, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the Niner Faithful Radio, our review show from our win over the Seahawks this Sunday. And let me tell you this right now, ladies and gentlemen, that place was rocking. I was there live and in front of the game. I was up on the first row of the stadium. Oh, I forgot to mute that one. It was a great time. I had a great time with friends and family over the weekend, kind of a thing. So it was good. What's up, Crazy Juice? Let's see what these guys. So what the hell's wrong with our fan base celebrating like if we won the Super because we have players? I agree. I mean, even I've made my jokes about it, so I'm not going to say I'm completely not guilty from that situation, but it's something that had to be done. It had to be done. And I know that I still, in my heart, feel that part of the problem that we had with Jake Moody was that he was injured last season. He obviously came back from the injury way too early. He kept kicking, he kept missing. And I think he's just mentally and everything else, it just kept going downward and downward. And to me, that was miscontent by the coaching staff. Because if he was still hurt and he came back and he was just getting worse and worse, like he obviously was when he came back last year, he should have just been put on IR. He should have just been put on IR and then, heal up and will come back this year. But at the same time, with that, he had all this offseason to get his shit together. He revamped his kicking style, went from a 3 to a 2-step kick. Still, he just can't do it. So, I mean, I kind of want to wait for TJ to tell the story, but I'll tell the story of Moody kicking at halftime with nobody else on the field. But he says that he's loading in right now. But yeah, so it's that. He looks like TJ just tried to load in right there. But let's go over some of the stuff that has happened within the last since Sunday. Let's see what TJ's. His laptop has crashed. All right. So let me pull up some things here. What's up, man?
I don't know what the fuck is going on, bro. What's cracking, Captain?
I believe below my name might still be the true thing.
That's all right.
I'm just gonna say that was one. That weekend was fun. One of the better weekends I've had, especially going to a game. You did not get to experience it last year for how loud that stadium can actually be. Yes, so not yesterday, but Sunday was the first time I thought this fan base actually showed up in at least the last 5 years. That stadium has not been that loud, at least for Niner Seahawks games, in at least 5 to 6 years. So, again, good for them for finally remembering that they have a football team up there in Seattle and showing up, probably because it was the first game of the season. But I'm sure you could hear us chanting defense towards the end of that game. That game was littered with Niner fans. It was not the reported 57% because all they were doing was taking that off one site. It was probably, I would say, 75-25. It just looks really good because the red stands out in a crowd of red, or a crowd of blue.
Yeah, see, I've always.
And TJ is frozen, so we're not sure what's. Oh, he's back.
Do y'all got me still?
Yep, you're there.
All right. So anyway, I'm not gonna lie, bro. That shit was pretty fucking dope. Seeing how many faithful were really there, and everything that was cracking. Let me see. Hold on. Why the fuck is everything just so fucking slow? I don't know, bro. I get to the Jake Moody shit. What's up, crazy?
I talked a little bit about it, but I wanted before anything else crashes or anything. I have not told you this story yet because I want to hear the story.
Okay, so let's hear the story. That I'm curious.
Okay, so halftime goes around. comes around. Not even 5 minutes into halftime, they're doing they got the band out there. I don't even know what fucking band it was. They were terrible, by the way. They're on the opposite end of where I'm sitting. So I'm sitting on the north side or the south side of the field, which is the opposite of where the Hawks Nest is. I'm by where they raise the flag and everything like that. Which the same side where Jake Tonges, gets a touchdown. But on the other side. So anyway,
I actually was going to ask you that. I was like, you on?
You can watch the video. You can actually see it in the video. You can see Jake Tonges make the catch to that show. So Moody's out there not even 5 minutes after halftime. He's out there by himself. There's not a single other player on the field. The only people on the field are the performers and the people filming said performance. He's out there with his little kicking stand thing. He's out there kicking field goals. This fucker misses 2 field goals at halftime. 2.
Damn.
And let me tell you this. The entire place was fucking laughing their ass off at him. That said, he did come back and make some field goals. But, I mean, he's just kicking. He's got the tee set up straight down the middle, and he's kicking like 30-yard field goals. Your kicker should not be missing these just with nobody around. It's bad because Seahawk fans were tapping me on the shoulder and like, dude, you need to cut your kicker.
I mean, y'all know, like, I really was like I don't want to say Jake Moody fan because let's be real, I'm not a Jake fan, I wanted Jake Moody to start as, he's the Niners kicker. Now, I don't wish ill will towards him now that he's not the Niners kicker or anything. But yeah, what I've been telling everybody is that it gets to the point when you're analyzing film on Friday or whatever day you're analyzing film. Like, okay, I'm gonna give you a real life example. So there's this dude at my work who basically thinks he could just do whatever the fuck he wants. And now to his credit, and so when you're the top salesman, you kind of can do whatever the fuck you want, tolerance versus talent, kind of situation. But what that does is that creates an atmosphere where people think that they can get away with whatever because, if he can do it, I can. So you had to cut Jake Moody. And the reason you had to cut Jake Moody is if you have to bench just not saying that he deserves to get benched, because I actually think you got him in the eye and say, we've got to bench you. We have to bench you. When you have your kicker missing 27-yard field goals, you just can't do that. You're gonna lose the locker room. Like back in the day, Jason, how you became my co-host was that it was getting to the point where everybody was gonna walk out on the show if we didn't get rid of Adam.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I had to look at Adam and say, look, I either got to replace the whole fucking team or I got to find a new. I just simply replace my co-host. It's just easier to replace your co-host. And that's what it was with Jake Moody. Wish him nothing but the best. Do I think he got a raw end of it? A little bit, because I don't think he was 100% healthy.
Yeah, but that was last year.
But unfortunately, this is why. That's what I'm saying. But at this part right here, crazy. This part right here. And Jason, it's starting to get to the point. And like, I'm not gonna say fire Kyle because he can't get special teams right, even though technically it was the extra point that was missed that got us to overtime. But like at this point, so We had Hightower, right? Hightower was our first special teams coordinator. You fire him. You got Schneider. You fire Schneider. Now you got Brian Borges. It's like, if like a coach keeps on saying it's the players, it's the players, it's the players, eventually they're going to look at the person who keeps on picking the fucking players.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't even want to get mad at the special teams. I don't even want to get mad at the players at this point, because at this point, the coaches, it just can't. You can't keep on having the same results under different coaches. Like, am I crazy, Jason?
I mean, but there is one same coach. It's Shanahan. This is Shanahan. And I'm not going to say that Shanahan doesn't give a damn about special teams. I do. Obviously, he does care about special teams. I just don't think he's giving it enough of his attention. But as far as Jake Moody having to go, I think it's the same kind of a situation that we had with Mooney Ward. I almost think that at this point, mentally being on the San Francisco 49ers is detrimental to his mental health. He needs to change the scenery. He needs to change things around, and then he'll probably be a decent kicker the rest of his life. He's got the talent. He's been good before. Again, before that injury, when you remember, someone actually, I've forgotten how bad that injury was. If you go back and watch the play where he gets rolled up trying to make a tackle, that ankle is rolled completely back the other way. Like, I don't remember it being that bad, but it really is a bad injury. So I don't think he ever quite, obviously, he never quite physically recovered last season. And then us putting him out there over and over and over just to keep missing over and over and over broke him mentally. And it's just never come back. And I can't tell if TJ is still there or not anymore. We moved for a second. All right, so I think TJ crashed again. Let's see what so Trees West was the whole special teams still has. Yeah, it's still definitely not great at all. Let's see. It's a job of those people in front to prevent the blocking the kick. Yeah, but the problem is Nick, now we play the what if game. Do we know if he was actually going to make that kick? Do we know if he was going to miss it? We will never know. And so at this point, history tells us, or at least, the way we want to feel about it is that, yes, he's going to miss it. And so even if he did miss that kick, I think you still have people probably still calling for his head because he's missing chip shots that he's missed over and over and over. Let's see what else crazy juice. Also, it's the offense job to score points. You should always want to win the game. I'm guessing you say you should always want to. And yes, you are 100% sure there are offense, but the problem with the offense right now are, obviously we're down BA wide receiver. Then Jennings gets hurt. Kittle pulls the hammy. Who are you throwing to besides Pearsall, who, by the way, who had an amazing game on Sunday? And by the way, that long pass where he caught where he was headed towards the end zone, I'm telling you, had he scored on that one instead of getting out of the way, he's jumping right into my lap, basically, kind of thing, because he was headed right for me. So you have a receiving core, including the tight ends, with only Luke Farrell and Jake Tondres out there, that is scaring nobody going against one of the top secondaries in the league. So what do you have to do with the offense? You're running the ball. So you have to use CMC, who had like 30 some odd touches. Granted, I was hoping we'd see a little bit more of Brian Robinson, but we didn't. But at the same time, so to your point to where the offense can score points, but through who? They stacked the line. They were waiting for Christian McCaffrey. They were, obviously quadruple teaming freaking Pearsall, because if you saw both those fucking interceptions, he threw in the quad coverage for some damn reason. So, Brock had to push it. Okay, I'm just reading something from TJ here. All right, so he's going to be gone for a while. So, while, yes, you do have to look at some of those things with that, but you also have to take into account that there was no one to make those plays. We are down to fourth, fifth, and string play at the skill positions, and an offensive line who at times looked utterly, like shit. Look at Trent Williams end up having more pressures, giving up more pressures than the entire rest of the team. That's Trent Williams, our probably Hall of Fame bound, one of the greatest left tackles of all times, giving up a ton, I think it's 7 pressures, which is more than the rest of the team. So let me pull this back up now that TJ is gone for right now. Let's see, transactions. So obviously today, we cut Jake Moody. He is no longer part of the San Francisco 49ers. And then we ended up signing veteran kicker Eddie Perino. Perino? I cannot pronounce this guy's name. I apologize. Formerly of the last with the Panthers. And this guy has a great, let me see if I can pull up his kicking stats. I want to say it was like the 4th best of all time when I looked at it. Give me just a second because TJ is supposed to have this. All right, his kicking percentage the last few years. All right, so last year he was 22 of 26. The year before he was 25 of 29. In 2022 he was 33 of 55. In 2021 he was only 8 for 8. And then I'm not sure what happened to him in 2020, but then in 2019 he was 23 of 28. That is some damn good stats. So we got 84, 86, 93, 100, 82, 88. This guy is consistently up in the high 80s, except for, the 80s and everything, where Jake Moody right now is headed towards the 70s. So we've got ourselves a damn good kicker. And while he doesn't have the greatest leg, I don't think we're looking for someone with the greatest leg. We're just looking for someone with a little bit more reliability as far as actually getting the kicks in. Okay, so there's that. All right. Let me pull some of this other stuff up. Why did that? No, it was telling me. All right. Also, things that came up today. George Kittle has been placed on IR, so that means he will not be available for at least the next 4 weeks. So let's see. According to our schedule, let's see. Schedule. I apologize. I'm pulling this up as we go right now. That means he will not be available until the October 12th game against the Buccaneers. So he is going to miss the Saints, the Cardinals, the Jags, and then we'll have the Thursday night game against the Rams, and then we'll have a little bit of a bye before he comes back. Excuse me. When he comes back against the Bucs. So again, that's going to be the Saints, the Cardinals, the Jags, and the Rams that Kittle is going to be missing. Unfortunately, kind of puts a damper for what a lot of us thought was going to be, finally a breakthrough season again, because he's had the breakthrough season as the receiving tight end. With that, unless he just comes back and just has one of the most monster seasons of all time. Let's see. Well, he better perform great, because if he doesn't, the Niners fan base is going to be ready with pitchforks. Let's be honest, crazy. Isn't that for any position? I mean, look at Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy has legitimately been one of the most, at least stat-wise and everything like that, efficient quarterbacks, elite level of efficiency quarterbacks of the last 3 or 4 years. Take into account last year, and we've dogged half this fan base has dogged him anyways. So it doesn't matter what anybody does. Like, this fan base is psychotic. We're a little crazy, and we're going to get jumped down somebody's throat. So, I mean, like I said, you've even got the perfect example with Purdy of someone who plays his ass off and is, really good, yet half the fan base thinks he's absolutely trash because he's not Trey Lance. He's not Colin Kaepernick. He's not, the running quarterback that everybody wants anymore. But for some reason, we have mostly a pocket passer now in Purdy, and no one likes him. So you can't win for losing with this fan base, because most of the fan base, they want that mobile quarterback, and we don't have it. Same thing with Jimmy. Let's see. Okay, TJ's got a little bit of a ways to go. So yeah, so to your point, yes, he does have to be prepared for probably more criticism per kick than he's ever, seen in any level of play or any place he's ever played before. But that's what you get when you play for one of the elite franchises. All right, so also going on this, so going back to Kittle. So going back to the whole Kittle situation, obviously he will be back, he will not be back until October 12th. So that means we're going to have guys like Jake Farrell obviously take a bigger role in the offense. Are we going to play? Are we going to go even more to the running game? Because right now we still got another injured player with Juwan Jennings, whose shoulder is a little hurt. He is day to day. We also don't know when he'll be back. I'm not sure if how much TJ was planning on bringing it up, but the reason why we probably signed my Kendrick Bourne, back on this team again is because we don't necessarily know the status of JJ going forward. He could be ready to go Sunday. He might not be ready Sunday. We will not know until come Sunday and see how this injury heals up between now and then. And I think even without the addition of, or even without him coming back, let's see. Give me a second to pull up something. Okay, there it is. Right now, we needed somebody to uplift this team because I don't know if we have that sort of high energy person on this team right now that just pumps everybody up. Kendrick Bourne has always been one of the most high upbeat, always smiling, always picking everybody up kind of a guy. I'm not saying that the team is kind of down in the dumps right now with some of the injuries and everything like that because obviously they should be feeling pretty good at getting a win in Seattle to start the season. But at the same time, even if you're good, Kendrick Bourne's the kind of guy that brings up everybody around him. So I say they let JJ rest. Yeah, I'm kind of with you at the same time. At least give him a week off and let's just see how things go. Change your game plan. Let him rest up that shoulder because we need him long term. And if you guys remember correctly, Kendrick Bourne was kind of like Juwan Jennings light. He was the prototype of what Juwan Jennings. I can't say it right now. Sorry, I'm trying to do this off the fly because of TJ having his technical issues. So I'm trying to juggle 15 things at one time. But he was the prototype for what Juwan Jennings is right now. He was all of that before him. He was that nitty gritty. Shout out to Wayne Breezy and the nitty gritty crew. He was that nitty gritty player who did all of the small things really well. That said, Jennings is just that much better at everything. He runs his routes better. Kendrick Bourne was the first receiver that we saw who just literally go downfield and just start mauling people over. Jennings mauls people over, but then they end up in the third row in the seats at the same time. So again, Kendrick Bourne was the prototype. I still think it's great to have him back on here. And then Jennings just took everything that Kendrick did and he improved upon it immensely. But there's nothing wrong with having both guys on here. Like I said, I think he'll bring another level of upbeat positivity to this team. He always brings that no matter where he is. And speaking of things possibly falling apart, if Brock Purdy's not able to go next week, and for any between because he does have the injury to his toe and to his non-throwing shoulder, if for some reason he does not able to go, Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne have played together. They played together in New England. So at least there's somebody on this team that is going to have some sort of familiarity with each other and some sort of rhythm and cohesion. So worst comes to worst, that's about another way of looking at some of those things. Let me pull up my notes here from some of my other stuff that I was doing. Also released today was that we released Robbie Chosen off of the practice squad. Obviously, that's probably to make moves. Well, is that to make moves? No, yeah, because if Kittle went on IR, so I guess, yeah, I was thinking that was because of JJ, but JJ is still not on IR or anything, so I'm not sure. We're probably going to have to make another move afterwards on that to get somebody else on. Also, and let's talk about one of the bigger things that happened on Monday, and that is the signing of Colton McKivitz to a 3-year, $45 million contract with $27 million guaranteed. I think that is one of the best moves that these guys have played. I believe it was Lombardi was saying that Trent and him were ecstatic after the game on Sunday, more than usual than after a game. And probably that's because they knew Colton McKivitz had just signed a huge guaranteed contract for him and his family. And if we know one thing about Trent loves seeing these guys get their big contracts. I've seen other interviews and snippets of every time someone gets a big contract, one of the first people there is always going to be Trent Williams telling them how proud he is. He's glad you're getting your money and all that kind of stuff because you're obviously setting your family up to be, generationally wealthy and all that kind of stuff. So It's probably just those two guys having a good old time because they also knew McKivitz was getting paid. Also, it's a great idea because, again, Trent Williams is 37, or he's going to be 37 this year. At some point, he's going to retire. I know he says he's going to play to 40. I don't necessarily think he's going to play to 40. Why? Every morning he's going to get up, he's going to hurt. Well, what if he said, what if he gets up, in December and it just hurts too much? There's just too much pain in those ankles and those knees of his. And someone else who's, pretty big myself and everything like that weighs you down, literally and figuratively. Um, who's to say he's not going to wake up in March and just be like, I don't want to do this anymore. It just hurts too much. And I don't want to put myself through the rigors of a training camp, getting back in shape or anything like that. He may not want to do that. So say he does that this offseason. We don't sign Colton McKivitz. Now we have to replace both our tackles at the same time. This, at the very least, gives us 3 years to figure out what the hell we're going to do. Just like Crazy Juice was saying here, we need to realize that they need to improve the O-line. So, again, going back on that, we definitely need to do something within the next 3 years because, again, we never know quite when Trent's going to retire. We supposedly have about 3 years on that. And now we have 3 years for sure with Colton. Look, I know some of you guys don't think Colton's great, and I'll admit Colton is not a great right tackle. But what he is a very solid right tackle that's going to do the job. He's probably going to be anywhere between 10 and 15, I think, of the top right tackles in the game. He's never going to crack the top 5 or anything like that. What is up, McNiner? How you doing, brother? Thank you for showing up. But yeah, so with Colton, I think, like I said, it gives us 3 years to figure out something to do with the tackle and the O-line situation in general. I think we're finding something in the middle part of the line. Obviously, we've got Pony in there. Obviously, Ben Barch is also banged up, but we have the natural, replacement for him and Connor Colby that'll be coming. He could slide in and he'll do fine at any point. What's up, TJ? Obviously, the question is what are we going to do with Brendo in the middle? But we do have ideas for that. We just have to see them through. But again, at least keeping one of your tackles so you're not having to replace both tackles at the same offseason is a great way to go. And like I said, if Colton McKivitz was the problem on this team the last 3 years, we'd probably at least win a Super Bowl or two. He wasn't the problem, ladies and gentlemen. How's it, TJ?
I mean, okay. My bad, y'all. I'm honestly about to fucking chuck my laptop at the wall. Like, honestly, I'm so fucking done with this shit. It's been like this for fucking 9 years, bro. Like, fucking tech capital of the world, but can't seem to get fucking Wi-Fi right. God, this shit's a joke. Anyway, I mean, look. Obviously, y'all caught me when part of the Jake issue is not scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Right? Like let's all talk about the elephant in the room. Has this team been good in the red zone? It's not.
It's never been underneath Shanahan.
We go back to probably what that's what I'm saying. So why we're sitting here talking about Jake Moody today? Because he missed a field goal blocked, which I hate to fucking put that on Jake Moody because that was not his fault. Half the fucking like when the ball was snapped. But let's be real. Lines up for one less field goal, maybe even 2 less field goals. Are we even talking about this? If he misses a 20, nobody gives a fuck.
That's $1 million question right there, Crazy.
That's why. Kivitz is still on this team. Am I frozen again?
You're lagging hard again, brother.
Wait, y'all got me now? Okay, you know what?
You're lagging hard.
Wait, like I give up, bro.
All right, obviously TJ is having some issues with his computer, so we'll talk about that. As far as moving McKivitz to right or left tackle, if Trent Williams decides to retire, I don't know. I know initially he is a left tackle by nature, and he has moved over to right tackle. I guess we have to see what the what our record would be that year. Are we gonna have like a top 15, 20 pick to where we can go get one of the top tackles? Are we gonna end up just leaving him there so we get a young stud? Oh, man, you're opening Pandora's box with that one. With David McNair, we left 18 points on the field in Seattle. Yeah, we did. We left a ton of points on there. And like I was saying earlier, at some point we have to look at with what they had to work with offensively. There wasn't much there. We had no Kittle, damn Philly Wi-Fi, right? But like I said, he's in the tech capital of the world. It shouldn't be that hard for the Wi-Fi for them to fix the Wi-Fi. I mean, he's been fighting with Comcast or whoever he has down there for how long now, and they still can't seem to fix his shit, no matter how many times they've come out there to quote unquote fix it for him. And we've seen times where his Wi-Fi has worked great, and then other times, like today, it just takes a shit, and then they come out there, they fix it, and it works for a couple weeks, and then we play this game over again. But let's talk about the defense, because I know we haven't hit much on the defense. This Robert Saleh defense is back on point. Everything. I mean, I never expect much out of Sam Darnold, but he only threw 150 yards. 40 of those comes on one throw to Jackson Njigba. Let me pull up the stats on that. Let's see. Seahawks. Score. Yeah, 150 yards, and he had one. Most of those came on one throw. Zach Charbonnet for 12 carries for 41 yards, or 47 yards and one touchdown. By the way, Zach Charbonnet should be the starter over Kenneth Walker. He's a much better back than him. And then again, Jackson Njigba, 9 receptions for 124 yards. Again, 40 of those coming on one catch. So he had 8 receptions for 80, about 90 yards. Still not a bad day. But we, for the most part, shut them down. They had a few big plays, which kept them in this game, and a few mistakes by us also keeping them in this game. The defensive line looked good. Obviously, only 47. How many total yard team stats? Rushing yards, we only gave up 84 rushing yards. That is amazing. Last year, this team would have got run over, especially towards the back end of the season. This team gets run over by anybody running the ball or anything last season. But the defense came up. Obviously, there was a big scare with Fred going down because he got kicked in the face with a cleat. I'm not sure how that, or his chin strap went up. I'm not sure. I've heard both. It was both the chin strap and a cleat that got into his face. So I'm not sure which one you want to believe or which one it actually was. Obviously, but he had all the gauze stuffed up in his nose and his mouth. Good to see he didn't come back out there. And man, look, I love Dre. I love big play Dre. But Dre, the problem with Greenlaw the last few years has been the fact that we don't know. He's on the same situation as kind of like with Trent Williams. We do not know how much time we have with them during the season. Dre Greenlaw did not play yesterday for the Broncos. So again, he's out. He's always injured. And D. Winters played like an absolute madman yesterday. Let's see if I can pull it up where he had tackles. ESPN that me and what's his name? We're looking at it the other day. But Drake, did Jay Reardon play? Because I feel like they were targeting Ronaldo Green. I don't even know if he got in the game or not, to be honest with you. Let's see. Team stats, no. I don't remember where me and Dion were looking at it yesterday. But again, D. Winters played his ass off yesterday. I mean, it's almost to the point where it's like, Dre who? And I know it's sacrilegious. I love me some Dre, but damn, did he play good. Bosa showed up. Bosa had amazing games. Or Bosa had an amazing game. You know, he had 3 or 4 tackles for loss. Obviously, he had the 1 sack and then the big fumble recovery at the end, which again, if you look at that, that was, Sam Darnold, with Ghost hearing things and just dropped the ball, just straight fumbled the ball for no reason. That's Sam Darnold, which everybody tried. There's a lot of people trying to say Sam Darnold would be a better quarterback than Brock Purdy. There are a lot of people who were saying he was a better quarterback than Geno Smith. I was like, no, he's not better than either one of those. He's terrible. He's freaking, yeah, obviously we had Seagull playing in the backfield again, everywhere. Upton Stout, the one time where Upton Stout gave up that penalty within the red zone, I had absolutely no problem with that penalty. You know why? Yes, he did pull on the jersey a little bit. That ball was also 15 feet over the head of that receiver. There was absolutely no way, unless he was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the back of fucking Shaquille O'Neal, that anybody was catching that ball. That should not have been a penalty. It was an uncatchable ball. So otherwise, I thought Upton Stout played great. The guys up front played great. Robert Saleh, thank you very much, because it almost seems like the missing thing is this, we have someone who, for the first time since D'Amico, knows how to run an offense. We blitzed. We did all sorts of stuff. It's almost like the defense that Robert Saleh had from before has evolved into something much more dangerous, it just seems faster, stronger. We might have a better version of TJ back, because supposedly he might have found the issue. Let's see what we got. What you got, TJ?
Hold on. Waiting. Saying my connection was lost. Can y'all hear me?
We can. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I think his stuff is still not going to be there. So, obviously, overall, great game. Anytime you can go into a division house, especially to start the week 1 when all the craziness starts, because you never know what's going to happen for a week 1 during the NFL season. It's just absolutely nuts.
Let me try one more thing.
All right.
Here, hook up to my hotspot.
Can you go hotspot on your phone?
If not, then you know what? We might have to shut down for a while, because I can't figure this shit out, bro. Hold on, let me turn on my mobile hotspot, see if this helps. There it goes. All right. I'm gonna go off stage for a second. Reconnect it. Hold
on. So anytime you can get into go into an opposing team's home stadium, win the game, especially week 1, when we really don't know what's going on with a lot of this stuff, because obviously they had an offensive coordinator who we'd never seen before. Yes, we have seen the offense before, but we've never actually seen his version of it. Obviously, Kubiak being of the Shanahan tree. But so getting a divisional win week 1, where a lot of people were predicting us to lose simply because we had so many unknowns. How was Juwan Jennings going to play? How well was he going to play with missing all of training camp? Obviously, I'm so sick and tired of seeing players who hold out of training camp end up getting injured in the first couple of games. It's just either play them or cut them at this point. Either they need to play or we cut them, because at this point, all they're doing is getting hurt and is a detriment to the team. So I think, next year, for whatever reason, Renardo Green holds out, says he's not going to play until he gets a new contract. All right, I'm good with dropping you and trading you until we get somebody else in here. And I don't know if Renardo's going to be that kind of person. Just the first person I can think of off the top of my head. We need people who are going to play and practice in the preseason. You can get away with obviously not playing, but you have to be able to practice all the time. Let's see. TJ says it will not let him connect to his hotspot. So, all right. So instead of dragging this out as long as it's gone, I'm surprised we've gone 45 minutes on this. We will just go ahead and call it. Thank you, everybody who showed up with this and showed up with us and stuck with us through all of the technical difficulties. We will see you. I will be back here on Friday. We were doing the weekend review show as we get ready to play the Saints this Sunday. Unfortunately, it really sucks that we're playing the Saints and we don't have George Kittle going back to play them, and having George, the last time we played them in the Superdome with George, being the Hulk and literally carrying 5 people. I'll have to put that shirt on this weekend for that shirt because I still got the shirt of, Kittle carrying 4 people on his back, getting us that first down, and everything. So, okay, everybody. Again, that'll be Friday, 6 p.m. right back over here. Again, thank you for sticking with us for 46 minutes of technical difficulties. All right. Fafitai te lava. One love, faithful.